Welcome back. Super excited. In this brief lecture, I'm going to clear the concepts of the differences between what is Git, what is GitHub, and what is GitLab. I know you've been out there trying to search for it, but I'm going to talk briefly about all of these three so we really understand the basic differences between these three different platforms. And that may be a common question to you as well. So I'm going to start first by talking about what is Git. So just by simply Google, right? If you were to Google what is Git, it's going to take you to the Git website. But before I even get to the website and talk what Git is all about, notice it just says right in the search results, Git is a version control system for tracking changes in computer files and coordinating work on those files among multiple people. So in essence, it's really a version control, right? So let's say if you're developing software, you need to come up with version 2, right? For example, or version 1.2. So it is a system where it's going to control that version control and track changes as developers create additional code. So in essence, that's what Git is all about. Let me navigate to the website. So on Git's website, we see that it says Git is a free and open source distributed version control system, right? So by means of distribution is that you may have teams or remote teams or developers all across the nation or the world, right? So they have a distributed version control system where they can use Git to kind of combine their version control systems. And it is designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. So that's Git. Let's talk about GitHub. So if you were to search GitHub, notice it says it's a web-based hosting service for version control using Git. So now GitHub is simply a web-based tool, right? It's a SaaS-based tool that actually uses Git as its source. So let's go to the website of GitHub. It's basically a web-based tool which uses Git, and it's also a distributed version control. So now you may have a GitHub account, right? And you have several repositories. You can use Git as a backend and then do the distributed version control. And third, but not last, is the GitLab. And that's something I'm super excited to talk about and actually work briefly in this particular course as well as we talk about best practices in DevOps. So GitLab is the only single product for a complete DevOps cycle. So now GitLab is a web-based Git repository manager with wiki and issue tracking features using an open license. So let's navigate to the GitLab's website. And this is where, of course, you will see that it says concurrent DevOps, a single application for the complete DevOps cycle. So essentially, it also uses Git, right, as the repository, but it has some excellent functionality where it encompasses the entire DevOps cycle. So for instance, if I scroll down, you'll notice with GitLab, we can plan your enterprise software, right? Create, you can verify, you can package it, you can release it, configure it, and monitor it. So all of these entire elements that falls within the DevOps cycle, which is of course continuous delivery, continuous integration, and so on. And we'll talk about that. So as best practices, as we dive deeper into the DevOps best practices, I'm going to be focusing on GitLab. Of course, you can use GitLab with any instances. So you can use GitLab on Amazon AWS platform. You can use GitLab on the Google Cloud platform with Kubernetes and so on. So there are several areas. Then I'm going to talk about the structure of how we actually use GitLab and how does it work briefly. So in this short lecture, I just wanted to get the concept out of the way so we understand what Git is, what GitHub is, and what GitLab is. So hope this helps. Practice, and let's move to the next lesson.